Carolyn, can you hear me okay?
I can. You're a little soft, but I can turn up volume.
I can get my microphone closer. Is that any better?
Yeah, my volume was turned down, so that it's good. Okay, I think we're good. And I started the recording button, so we are recording this.
Okay, great. I just increased my microphone volume as well. Okay. Great. Well, we wanted to officially welcome everybody to our second episode of Design Time. We're really excited about these. So far, so good. Quick and dirty, down and dirty kind of opportunities to show you some tools and some tricks of the trade to help you on your way and moving more efficiently through your online classroom. Today, we're going to talk about the text editor. And the way we're going to do that here is Carolyn's going to go into our test course here and bring up an item anywhere. The text editor is something that comes up whenever you create an announcement, a discussion board post, set up your assignments. The text editor is always there in any item that you put in Blackboard. And the text editor is available to you and to your students. So everything you see on the text editor, you can be well assured that your students also have all of those options for the text editor as well. And here it is. This is the text editor. And what I want to show you real quick is, before we even get started on what all of these icons are, is every once in a while, and it happens mostly in assignments and not so much in other places, the text editor will hide itself. So there's this button on the right-hand side here, and you can see that you only have one row of options, and these are your formatting, your font, or your text options. And in order to get all the text editor options, you click on that arrow again, and they'll all be brought back out. So if you ever enter a space and say, where are all those options that Dawn and Carolyn told me about? That little button will unhide them. So I wanted to start off there just so that you had access to all of the nifty icons and buttons we have here. So this is going to be what we talk about today. Just as a quick reminder, the way Design Time works is we will talk about this for approximately 15 minutes, and then we will open it up to questions for anybody who has questions on anything. You can ask clarifying questions on the text editor, or if you've run into something in the last week that you've had a problem with, we're happy to just talk about anything that has to do with the technology in Blackboard. So let's get started. I'm first going to talk about create links. I wanted to show you the difference between embedding a link in your text editor versus attaching a file to the outside of the item. Many times it makes sense. You see attach here, you'll go to this number 2 area to attach a file. And what that does is it puts the attached file outside of the text editor item. So let's go ahead and do that just so you can see what that looks like. And then I will show you another way to do this just to look a little cleaner by using your text editor. So Carolyn's attaching something here. Oh, you probably need to give the content item a name. I'm sorry?
So I've added it. Oh, content item, right, okay. Gotcha.
Because I'd like to hit submit because I want you to actually physically see what this looks like. And this is typically how we attach items. So if you need to attach a document like the course manual or even application exercises, what ends up happening is here's the test document. So it attaches. Where are you going? attaches the document here under the title. But if you would have put any information in the text editor, like directions on using that attachment, the directions would follow underneath the attachment. So sometimes that can just be, in the design world, a little confusing, and sometimes it's a lot better if you can embed the attached document right there with the directions. So we're going to do that using this text editor and some of these little icons. So as Carolyn has written, here are the directions. Okay, so you can see if you were to write the directions, there are the directions, and then the attachment is up above it. So now let's go in, and using our text editor, let's attach that same course manual inside the text editor. So what you're going to do is, I suggest hitting enter, like keep here the directions, that's fine. Okay. And then I suggest hitting enter and making your attachment its own line. And type the name of whatever you want it to be. So summer course manual. Now what you're going to do is you're going to highlight that. And then just like in your email, there's this little paper clip on that third row of icons. And that's insert file. And it's the same mechanism in your email where you would attach a file. So go ahead and click on that. It's going to give you two options. Do you want to browse your computer, or do you want to browse your content collection? I am not going to go into content today because that's an entire different design time show. However, I will just briefly mention that if your content collection is basically file storage within your Blackboard course, so if you put files into your Blackboard course, you can choose to browse from there. But most of you don't, so we're just going to browse your computer. And just like you would in an email, you're going to go find that file, hit open. And here is going to be the name that you see when you attach it. So if you don't like the name of the file, you would put the name that you want to see in the text. I believe we had summer course manual. One trick is when you highlight it on the text editor, you can hit copy so that when you get to this place, all you do is paste it in, or you can rewrite it. It's up to you. And then you hit submit. And what this is going to do is it's going to create a hyperlink. As you can see here, it's turned blue and it's underlined, so it becomes a link to that file. And in addition, again, we're not talking content collection, but every time you attach a document within your course, a copy of that document goes into the content collection. So if you were to go to another area and attach this exact same document, you could browse your content area because your course is collecting all of the files that you are attaching into your course. So go ahead and hit submit, and let's see what this looks like in comparison to the attached document area.
Before I hit submit, I just want to point out I have marked our attached course manual for removal. So I'm removing that. And in case you wanted to know how to, if you use the attachment tool, how to remove a document from there, you just click mark for removal and then click submit. So
if you remember before, we had the name of the document, test document, we had the here are the directions, and then above and in between those things was the attached document. Now what you can see is it's a lot cleaner. You've got the name of the item, here are the directions, and right underneath it is, within the text editor, the document. And then it's just a link that, as you can see, Carolyn's clicked on, and it will open up and they can download it, they can print it, they have access to it, whatever it is that you need them to do with it. So that's how you attach a file using the text editor. The other link that I wanted to talk about, if we can go back to a text editor, is a hyperlink. So if you are going to have them go to a particular website, so there's an article online or there's a website online that you want them to go to, you would do the exact same thing we just did, but instead of attaching a document where you're going to go find it and upload it, you would instead create a hyperlink. And basically what you do is, outside link. So outside, so connecting somewhere on the web. You're going to highlight it again, and instead of going to and you're going to copy it as Carolyn just did, instead of going to your paperclip, you're going to come up to the middle row, about middle way through, right here. This little chain link is going to be your hyperlink. And you're going to click on that, and it's going to bring you to a window where it's going to ask you to insert a web address. So we're going to insert just maybe google.com or whatever, uc.edu, even better. So that's not it, though. It's really important when you do hyperlinks that you make it open in a new window. When it tries to open within the own frame of Blackboard, a lot of times that link breaks. The best way to make this work, and a lot of times if your link is broken in your class, if you edit that link, it's mostly this target area. Where is the link going to and where is it going to open? And it needs to say open in new window, and then it should work. And then you hit insert. And you can see it does the exact same thing. So for design-wise, looking and feeling, it looks and feels like everything else, regardless of whether it's an attached document or it's an outside web address. The link looks the same and acts the same. Excuse me. So now when we hit submit, you'll see that link, and then we will click on that link. Blackboard's thinking a lot today. We will click on that link, and it will take us directly to a website. And in this case, it should take us to uc.edu. And I want to show you that new window piece. It opened up a brand new tab that sits next to the course tab. So that's what it's going to do. It's going to open it up outside of the course in a new window, and that's what's going to make the link run. And then the last thing as far as inserting things in the text editor, so we've gone over how to attach a document, and we've gone over how to do a hyperlink or any web address link outside, is I'd like to show you how to insert an image. And images are great. They break up the eyes, the text, and so that your eyes have something visually to look at, and to also, when you're trying to remember things, it gives you an image to connect to that particular content. In Carolyn's classes, and I've tried to do this too because I think it works really well, is for each module, try to come up with a fun image that kind of relates to the content you're going to be talking about. So if you want to insert an image, it's done exactly the same way. You just put your cursor, and next to the paperclip is a little landscape icon, and that's insert image or picture. And it works exactly the same way as your email and exactly the same way as before. Now you're going to browse your computer, find a picture. We do suggest, for accessibility reasons, to give the image a description, because if anybody is working in this class that might have visual imparities, you want to give them a tag to the image so that if they can't see the image, they at least can see her description of what that image is. And screen readers and things that talk to folks also will read those tags so that they're getting a sense of everything that's on the page. So it's something we try to throw in there as well, is an image description and title. And then you hit insert. And you can see it's here. It's also very big. You can adjust it just like you would anywhere else by clicking on it. And you'll get the little arrows, and you can drag it. As big as you want. And that's how you insert an image. So this might come in handy for, like I said, just kind of throwing some images in there, but it also might come in handy when you are maybe putting an image of yourself and an introduction and your bio and that kind of thing. That can also be how you do that. Okay, and let's go back to the text editor. And that's how you insert things within it, other than just text. Now I just kind of want to go through a couple. There's a lot of these are self-explanatory. Just starting with the top row, the T's that you see there. These are formatting your fonts. This is bold, italicized, underlined. These are things you're used to seeing, like Word, strike through. You can adjust your font size. They have different numbers. You can see here it says 3, and the 3 is a 12 point, but you can use headings that will adjust it for you. You can change your fonts. These are all pretty standard. Using bullets, using numbers. This T down here is your text or font color. You also have a highlighter next to that. If you want to highlight something you really want them to pay attention to. And then I want to show you this little guy at the far end. This little guy is an eraser, and it is called clear and remove formatting. And basically, when you attach something or copy and paste something from a Word document or any other source, what you see is what you get. Doesn't necessarily apply here. It may look okay to you, but depending on your students and what browser they're using, what resolution they're using, however their computer is configured, they may see a different formatting. Sometimes you may notice when you're filling out your module that the font gets changed from one item to the next and it looked fine to you, but when you hit submit, all of a sudden the formatting went wonky. The easiest way to fix that, to keep everything uniform, is to highlight the text, as you can see here. Okay, so Carolyn just hit copy and paste. You can see here that this font is a little different than the font that she typed in. I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to show you, let's stick with clear formatting. Okay, so Carolyn's going to highlight this entire paragraph. She's going to click that little eraser and watch what happens. It cleared out all the formatting. So it brought it back to standard, what Blackboard has standard Arial 12-point font. And so if you're copying and pasting from different areas and you maybe use Times New Roman in a document, or you use sans in a document, or you use different things, when you copy and paste it in, but just remember, for clarity's sake and consistency's sake, you can very easily highlight that paragraph and click the eraser, and that eraser is going to clear and remove all formatting and bring it all back to basic Arial 3 12-point Blackboard font. And it just helps with consistency. And some of the other things you'll see here, and then I'm going to hand it over to Carolyn to talk about the mashup, because I realize I'm talking too much. Is, on the second row, these are all things you should be really familiar with. These are, creating lines. You've got you can do width of the horizontal rule, so you can separate your content with lines. Sometimes that's a nice visual separator. You've got justification of left, right, center. You've got your cut, copy, paste. You even have emoticons in the bottom. Might be going too fast. But these are all things. I love the emoticons. They're fun. You can choose. There's not a whole lot to choose from, but you can choose to have some of these little guys. And we just encourage you to explore these things. I'm sorry?
Yeah, these little guys might be, I was just going to say, these little guys might be kind of fun, when you're giving feedback to students, because if you're using the Textbox Editor to give feedback,
Absolutely. So these are all ways you can utilize the Textbox Editor to format and make your text a little more exciting or consistent and that kind of thing. But I also really wanted to spend some time on the mashups. I think I took a little bit too much time inserting stuff, but I'm going to hand it over to Carolyn to talk about this mashups button at the bottom because it's got some really dynamic features.
Right. So, first of all, I want to talk about this little guy right here. There are two means of recording yourself in Blackboard. One is Kaltura, which I'll talk about in just a second, and the other one is record from webcam, which is really just using YouTube. This is not working right now. In fact, nothing having to do with YouTube, the YouTube mashup, or this record from webcam is working right now. It has to do with an update that was made to YouTube through Google that has kind of broken that tool in Blackboard, and they just haven't caught up with it yet. So really your fallback on that is to use Kaltura, which I will talk about in just a second. So we're going to focus just over here in the mashup. The mashup, which I still maintain is a dumb name for this, but nobody listens to me, so it doesn't matter. The mashup allows you to add these types of media. So if you have a Flickr account and you have photos on Flickr and you want to use that, this allows you to sign into your, or to search on, I guess you don't even have to have an account, to search on Flickr for particular kinds of photos that you want to use. Let's see what we get with something real simple. So here's a bunch of returns on flowers. So I can just select one of those, and I have my choices of whether I want to include a thumbnail, the size, whether I want to show the URL or not, and I click submit. And what it does is it embeds it into the Blackboard, into the text editor. Now what's nice about this is it does some of the things that for accessibility are important to do. It provides the tags for you. It provides the license information, and then of course the URL, which is nice for screen readers. So that's an option of a mashup tool that you can use. There we go. Sometimes it's hard to get rid of some of this stuff. So the next option is to use Slideshare. If you find, for instance, a presentation on Slideshare that you want to share with your students, then this is a good option. So I'm just going to search for something in online learning and tell it to go. And it's searching the Slideshare site for presentations having to do with online learning, and it returned 61,000 returns, so I probably would want to limit that search a little bit. But I'm just going to pick one, and it allows you to preview it first, so you can see, you can see it larger than the thumbnail, what it looks like, and maybe go through it. But I'm going to just select one, and of course the one I happen to select is in Spanish, so that probably wasn't the best choice. But again, I have my choice of showing the URL, showing the information, whether it's a thumbnail view, a text link with player, or whether I want to embed the presentation. So I have presentation options here. Click submit, and it's going to put that into the Textbox Editor. And now the student can either link to the Slideshare page or watch the presentation. So that's a handy little tool. I've used that quite often. There's some pretty good Slideshare presentations out there that might, you might find are useful to your teaching. Then, of course, this is the big dog here, the Kaltura Media. So we're not going to spend time today talking about Kaltura Media, but just to click on that to show you. Kaltura, of course, allows you to add media by either recording your screen or recording your webcam, or by uploading media into Kaltura. You do that with your Add Media button over here. Again, we're not going to spend time on that today because that's a whole nother design time episode, and we've done training in the college on Kaltura already. But we'll probably devote, well, in fact, we are going to do the August design time on Kaltura because Kaltura is changing. It's we're getting an upgrade of Kaltura that's called Capture Space that will allow you to do some cool things when you're recording lectures. So the August design time will be devoted to the new Kaltura Capture Space. We'll talk about that then. And so the last one is the one that's broken, YouTube videos. You are no longer able to search for a video. It doesn't matter what you search for here. If I search for, this is one that I know is out there because I've used it before, and if I search Go, it says there's an error. So this is a problem between Blackboard and Google that we can't fix, but you can work around it. So if you have a YouTube that you know you want to use, you would need to first, let me go up here and open a new window. Let me search for Death by PowerPoint, and it's going to probably return. Here it is. This is what I want. Here's the YouTube that I wanted. Oh, he's updated this. That's good. I love this guy. This is very funny. So what I need to do is grab the embed code. So if you've never looked at that before, any YouTube video, if you click share, you can get a link to share it, you can email it to someone, or you can embed it. And so if you grab that embed code and just copy it, so I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to come back over here to Blackboard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my embed media, which is right here next to the image. I saw something flashing on my Adobe Connect, which is right here next to the image. So I'm going to embed media. And actually it's asking for the URL, so I didn't even have to get the embed code. So I'm just going to grab the URL. I'm going to put that in here. I can determine the proportions, or it'll just sort of automatically do it for me. We'll just use that. There we go. I don't want iframe, I want flash. Why is it doing iframe? There we go. Well, it's going to do iframe. And then it's going to look like this until you click submit. And now it's embedded here. So all it's doing is it's putting the player, it's embedding the YouTube player into the Textbox Editor, and now you can play the video right from there. Or you can click here and watch it on youtube.com. So the drawback here is that you can't really make it full screen unless you go to YouTube, but the link to it is right here. So, so that's our workaround for now. Until they get the YouTube problem fixed, use that embed media button instead, and that should work for you just fine. Of course, you can also just link to the video using a hyperlink to the YouTube URL that Dawn showed you earlier, the hyperlink to a website. You can use that as well, and just I could put Life After Death by PowerPoint, make that a hyperlink out to that YouTube, and then that works too. That's a real simple workaround. So we took a little longer than we meant to there. But does anyone have any questions either about something we've talked about today or anything at all? Open question time. And I can give folks, if you have, I'm going to give microphones to both of you. So if you have a mic and want to speak, feel free. I should have done that to begin with. Sorry.
Heidi, I have an appointment with you to learn how to do Adobe Connect
yes.
for my PhD student's dissertation.
Okay, Victoria, that's cool. I understand.
Okay.
Deborah, do you have any questions?
Yeah. If you guys have any questions at any time, you know that you can always contact us at CASID. We're here. And so if you need anything, just let us know. And if you guys don't have anything else, we thank you for joining us for our second episode. Like Carolyn said, our next episode is going to be the first week of August, that Wednesday. I believe it's a 5th, August 5th in the morning at 10:30, our regular time. And it's going to be on the new Kaltura Capture Space. And so we're excited to show everybody that. And we'll probably have our guest speaker, Kaylin, because he's going to be doing a lot of the learning and training on that. So he'll probably most likely manage or host that show, but we'll be there with him. So, Deborah, no, I couldn't hear you. Did you? I see you raise your hand.
So let's see.
Do you mean this course that we're in right now? If so, this is truly an empty course. There's nothing in it. We just use it to showcase stuff, so I'm not sure how helpful it would be. But if there's something specific you're looking for, we can definitely get that to you. Articulate storyline. Okay. Yeah, so, yes, okay. Perfect. Awesome. Well, good. Well, we really appreciate you guys joining us. We'll stop the recording now. And we'll hope you guys have a great 4th of July weekend and have wonderful plans